As you know, Secretary, the state of Alaska was compelled to stop the statewide assessments that were underway this year. Their assessment through the Alaska Measures of Progress began on March 29 and through a series of failures. First of all, there were a lot of different anomalies for students throughout the state. You'd be going down through question 1 is there, question 2 is there, question 3 is nowhere. Where's question 3? These were anomalies that were not just in one district, but in multiple districts. In some, there were, again, the skipped questions. In some, there was no sound on the text-to-speech accommodation tool, assorted error messages. Then we find out that a backhoe severs the provider's or the vendor's broadband internet cable that sent the, basically the system fails out of Kansas. The cable that delivered the test to Alaskan students and captured their answers kept crashing. Every time the system crashes, the students have to restart the test from the very beginning, meaning that they've got to answer the same questions over and over again. The system didn't save their answers. When you think about frustration of a student, they don't like being in the test in the first place, but then when you try and things stop and start and stop and start or are inconsistent, extraordinarily frustrating. What we saw was uniform testing conditions just were compromised and failed us. So there was a period on Tuesday when it went down. Thursday, they were told it was back up, but then we reported that further widespread anomalies were there. The assessment portal wasn't functioning. Cable hadn't been fully repaired. Basically, it was a situation that was just deemed a failure, and our acting Secretary of Education made the determination to cancel, to stop the statewide assessment. We're also told that if Alaska were to resume the testing, despite all of these previous problems and the impact that they've had on the reliability of the test results, the validity of them, that the vendor, the provider AAI, is unable to make a cached assessment platform work in the state, given some of the complications and difficulties that we have with broadband. This is not a good situation, of course, but this is a very difficult decision that the state of Alaska made because of just broad system failure. So given all of the problems that we have seen related to this statewide assessment, can you give me the assurance, as well as the state of Alaska and our Department of Education, that the department will not force Alaska's students to resume testing this year?
So, very concerned about how the test administration has gone in Alaska. Our team has been in touch with Dr. McCauley, as have I. We've also been in touch with the folks at University of Kansas, the vendor that Alaska selected, to try and get at the issues. We have, unfortunately, in other states in past years had issues around technical glitches. The key thing has been that the states and the vendors have worked together to try to resolve those as best they can and to ensure that we have an assessment system that provides good information to parents and teachers each year about student performance. So we're going to continue to work with Dr. McCauley and the University of Kansas and try to see the best path forward.
Well, I would not disagree that you need to try to work through technical glitches. And if I thought these were just some technical glitches, I might not be so insistent that we have some degree of discretion from you at the department that says this didn't work this year. It has materially impacted the validity of this year's assessments. I know that you have had prior situations, most specifically with the state of Nevada. Just last year with their statewide assessment, the department allowed the state to cancel that test without penalty. I'm told that they just Nevada just received confirmation that there would be no penalty on them for canceling the test due to the technical difficulties with it. So I would ask that you look at the situation with Alaska, and again, give me the assurance that the department and your Assistant Secretary Designate Whalen, and the department really as a whole, conduct the same thorough and fair and responsible review of the Alaska situation, just as you did with Nevada, and give Alaska the opportunity to provide all data and to answer all questions in writing before you make any final decision as to whether requiring them to conduct assessment, or if heaven forbid, you should think that that any form of penalty might be appropriate. This is a situation, again, where you had a very unfortunate issue in Kansas with a backhoe taking out the cable there. But we have, as you know, in Alaska, difficulties with broadband access in the first place. So we are not sitting in the same place as Nebraska or Iowa or wherever. We have some very real challenges, and I think we saw that as it started to play out. So I would again urge you, look critically at the situation in Alaska, because it certainly does not appear to me that these are technical glitches that need to be worked through.
Yeah, I can assure you we're taking the same approach here as we took in our work with Nevada, and there have been some other incidents over the years with states. I will say one distinction is that Nevada made a variety of efforts to ensure that where it was possible to administer the assessment, they did so. And so, again, we're talking with Dr. McCauley and trying to make sure that we have a thoughtful approach going forward.
We need to move on.
If you could make sure that my office is looped into that, I would appreciate it as well. And thank you, Mr.
Absolutely.
Chairman, I appreciate it.